If you're familiar with the channel, basic house cleaning, please give examining Kubrick a chance, and please support the channel any way you can. All right, so how did it go? Well, I think the conversation itself was fine with Mitch and Lindsay, but yeah, the whole thing was a bit of a mess with the chat, constant censoring. It's not clear what happened, but yeah, comments disappeared, they appeared, including my own comments. It was just very, very bizarre. But what was the substance of what they spoke about? Well, the subject was addiction, and specifically Narconon, which is a kind of Scientology front group, which Mitch had a lot of experience with and went into his own personal background and how it works and how it does not work. So I will give the basic gist. As far as I understand it, it is this that Narconon tries to scam people for money, but it's not a complete scam. So they will ask for a certain lump fee and try to get the person off drugs, hence the narco and the non. And Mitch says that he has seen people do the program and it does work for some people. It is there mainly to do propaganda and make money, so it's not serious, but some people do improve. And his own experiences, it is a fraud. It's not really doing what it says. And bonus, that yes, Scientology has kind of a double standard with drugs. You think they really hate drugs, but he has testified that no, actually, he took drugs. Apparently, back in the day, L. Ron Hubbard, when he had those ships, someone couldn't get to sleep. And I guess Hubbard was a nice guy and said, well, we got to get him to sleep. So it's like, just give him something, which meant give him a drug to put him to sleep. So apparently in the back of their minds and in the back of their hands, they always have this big exception that, well, even Hubbard allowed drug use. So it's like, oh, interesting, interesting. So you can see they're not really being hypocritical because you see all these celebrities like clearly they're taking drugs. Well, see, that's what you pay for the real money, right? You get those special OT levels and those anecdotes and say, well, even L. Ron Hubbard allowed some drugs. So it's like, nice. So yeah, there's still complete hypocrisy, but you wonder like, well, how do they do that and still conform to the technology? And it's like, well, there you go. So apparently back in the day, yeah, Hubbard allowed a little bit of drug use. And so Mitch could use drugs because like, well, even Hubbard allowed it. So there you go. So that's a very interesting insight. We'd have to double check these things, but okay, that's interesting. But let us get to the main event, which is this war of the Mitch and the Brisker with Marilyn, with Marissa Dianetics, with Onora, with Serge, with Aaron. They all hate him. They all want him destroyed. He's an evil, evil werewolf man. And I think, like LV, I'm a little puzzled. What did Mitch do wrong? And there's a lot in terms of accusations and counter accusations and arguments and counter arguments. But I think it really comes down to this. The best I could give in terms of a general discussion would be that they think that Mitch is still defending Scientology. That is the accusation, that he's really not attacking Scientology. He's either secretly, yes, OSA, or working for Miscavige, and or he isn't really willing to denounce Scientology in the right way. Well, what is the right way? Well, we're going in a circle. The right way to do it is to repeat what Marilyn says, repeat what Aaron says, repeat what Serge says, repeat what Nora says. That is the right way to do things, but Mitch isn't doing that, therefore he's the enemy. It gets really hilarious because Marilyn was never in Scientology. But apparently the way Mitch can find redemption is just follow what Marilyn does and says, Mitch, repeat everything she does. Now you're good. Now you're one of us again. But Marilyn was never in Scientology. She can't even verify these stories herself. It doesn't matter. I mean, Mitch has personal experience. That doesn't matter either. So it does come down to you have to believe the Aaron narrative and that of his friends, or you're the enemy. Okay, but what exactly is the charge? And believe me, Mitch has a lot of iffy things in his background. I think probably the most devastating for me is that he was, in a way, benefiting from slave labor, because that's what Scientology does with the Sea Org and David Miscavige. Now, the way I understand it, yes, he was, quote, benefiting from it, but he did help people while he was in Scientology at the gold base. And again, his experience is primarily the gold base. There is either miscommunication that Mitch is speaking of the gold base, not other parts of Scientology, and or, yeah, maybe he's a secret OSA guy. And Mitch says himself that, listen, if you want to say I benefited from slavery, whatever, I tried to do what I could while I was there. Yeah, I kind of benefited from it, but that was the system. But I did help people. In any case, it's not like he literally had personal servants. It was just That was the structure of the system. So is Mitch a hero? Is he a villain? I don't know, because I've tried to listen to what these people are saying. If he has done something wrong, well, get a lawyer, charge him, and get it over with. But so far, it's just a lot of rumors that he may be on the side of the enemy. Okay, that's nice, but until we have actual evidence, it does seem like it's two competing narratives, the Mitch narrative and that of his detractors. And that's where we are.